Hey, I'm working on the parser. I'm very close to being done. I just wanted to mention something that I found interesting as I was working through here. So we're trying to parse C, and in C you can have function declarations, which look like this, um, and you can have function definitions, which look like this. So this is just random C. It's from the parser, an older version of the parser, so it turns out that since I'm using a recursive descent parser, there can't be any. Uh, you sort of need to consume one token at a time and be able to make choices about what you're parsing one token at a time. Um, and the problem with this is that there are two top level items, function declarations and function definitions, for which that's not true. So the only difference between these two constructs in the syntax is that one ends in a semicolon and one ends in a block of statements. So that means we have to parse all of this and sort of hold that state in our mind and then make a decision afterwards about what we just parsed, which is doable, but it's really annoying and not very clear. And I'll just point out that even though there's no name, so there's a type here, but there's no parameter name, and down here there's a type and a name. Even though there is that distinction, C actually allows you to put the parameter name here in the function declaration. So it's just too similar. So what I decided to do was, if I go over to the code that is currently running, I have this, or that I currently have. I have this cheats.h file, which I'm including in every file in the compiler so far, and I've defined these three macros. One is called function, one is called function declaration, and one is called global. I should mention that this is the same problem with global variable declarations. So if we just look at this part here, it could be, and don't look at the rest. At this point, it could be a global variable because if you see an equal sign after this identifier, then it would be a global variable. So I've made these three like dummy macros, and what you're supposed to do with them is you're supposed to wrap the signature of a function with fn, and it just spits out the signature again. So really, this just goes away at compile time during the preprocessor stage. Let me find a forward declaration here. Yeah, same thing with function declaration. So you just put the signature of the function, and then you put a semicolon at the end, and this macro disappears at compile time, or actually before compile time at during the preprocessor stage. And let me show you an example of global. Global. So I have one. I actually only have one global variable in the entire compiler so far, but you just wrap the type and the name in global, and again, this global macro disappears during the preprocessing stage. So now that simplifies the parser a lot. If I go to parse item, function parse item, now I can just look for, all right, I know that a function declaration begins with fn_decl, this keyword. So I've made this a keyword in my language. So the parser treats this separately here. And then we just parse, and then it's very simple to parse this. So the nice thing is that we get sort of a look ahead, or you pre-declare what we're about to parse by using this pseudo keyword. And the reason I'm doing this, the reason I'm not adhering strictly to the C grammar. So currently this is not valid C code unless you include this header file which has these macro definitions. But that's okay. I'm parsing a subset of C. And the subset of C that I'm parsing right now is the subset of C which includes this header file, which has these macros defined. And this will all change once I actually can compile the compiler with itself, because then I can begin mutating the language. And I'm thinking eventually I'll probably do something like I'd like the return type to be after, and we begin with fn, just like sort of Rust syntax, something like this. So the syntax will change, but first I just need to get everything compiling. So this is a temporary step. Okay, I just thought that was fun because so I wanted to show you, because it's an abuse of macros, but for a good reason, or an interesting reason at least. So I thought that was interesting. All right, that's it.